Welcome to Pause for Peace with me, Pastor Jewel, and welcome to the season of spring. If you follow any of our ministries, I hope that you keep track of the beautiful ministry that we have here, thanks to our partner, Sarah Champion, Forest Walk with Me. Almost monthly this year, at least in the warmer months, we will be having a forest therapy walk right here on the grounds, the beautiful 9 acres of green space that is Hillwood Presbyterian Church on the west side of Nashville, Tennessee. All sorts of creatures live over here on our 9 acres. We have deer here often. We have all sorts of little creepy crawlies around. And our forest therapy walks are these beautiful experiences to be out in nature. We had our first one for 2025 on Thursday on the spring equinox, and Sarah guides us in an experience where we can get in touch with all of our senses as we are out in nature. We can wander wherever we want on the property and pay attention to the prompts she gives us and allow the rhythm of our own heart and of our own nervous system to kind of melt down a little bit and get back in a frequency that is aligned to the frequency of the earth. It's just a beautiful gift to be able to participate in forest therapy walks, and I hope you will check our website for the next one coming up on April 22nd, which is Earth Day. You can go to our website at www.hillwoodpc.org to find out about all of our ministries and especially to find out about our upcoming forest therapy walks. Spring equinox is this time when the world continues to turn and shift, and we are in a new season. This podcast being released on March 23rd, so just a few days into the season of spring, which is not necessarily a church season. We're still in the church season of Lent, which is sort of an interesting juxtaposition in some ways, because in Lent, we're on this inward journey, which would make a little more sense to be doing in winter when we can have the quiet of contemplation to go within and examine ourselves and our days. Spring is this time when everything is coming back to life. Spring is a time when the browns of winter begin to turn to the lush greens of these beautiful months ahead. Wherever you are in this world, I know you might not be experiencing spring if you're on the opposite side of the equator, so hopefully you're excited to turn into fall and the winter to come. But if you're here in the United States or anywhere in the Northern Hemisphere, I hope that you are seeing signs of spring all around you. The budding of trees. Maybe a few more birds chirping in your area. Some of the birds might even be trying to make their nests and get ready for being able to perpetuate their own species. And we might even be seeing flowers popping up from the earth. I was outside the other day and I walked my dog. And so I was outside and I came back to come back into the house. And I looked and I'm like, why in the world is there a crocus? I didn't even plant a crocus in this particular area of one of the garden beds. And there's a crocus popping out. And my dog is trying to bark at it because it doesn't know what it is. It's this beautiful, purple crocus that's come forth from the earth, and such a gift. We might see the hyacinths. We might be seeing the daffodils. For several weeks now, I've been seeing daffodils around Middle Tennessee. What a cool thing. So all of these signs of life emerging once again, it's all a part of this season of spring, the thing that happens because the earth turns and we turn closer to the sun at this time of year. There are so many things to notice about spring, especially if you're somebody who pays close attention to the land, and perhaps if you're somebody who actually lives more among the animals and in more rural areas. You might notice that it's the time when things are starting to come to birth, right? And so in the Celtic world, which we talked about on February 1st with the Feast of St. Bridget, in the Celtic world, February 1st was known as the time when the ewes were starting to have the milk running forward. It was the running forth. It was the time when the lambs were being born. The lambing season, it's often called. And that may be happening around you if you're living in a farmland, or if you're living, on a farm yourself. You might be seeing all those things starting to happen. And there's so much that goes into the earth, like turning and the seasons turning. There's so much that, like wisdom in the turning of the seasons, that we can glean for our own journeys. And I want us today to spend a little time reflecting upon the gift of spring and the gift of new life, of things just bursting forth into being. We may or may not be feeling that in our own life right now, our own physical, emotional, mental, spiritual body. We might have been going through like a period of dormancy. Like, I'm actually out of my sling. If you're watching our video cast, you can see I'm out of my sling. I can't like fully move my arm yet, but there are signs of hope that I'm healing, and that this is like all a part of this energy of spring, everything that's taking place, so that the harvest will come again, so that all things will be able to come into their fullness and enjoy the abundance of life. And we, as human beings, in relationship with all the species of the earth, all the plant species, all of the animal kingdom, where we can come into enjoyment and delight in the pleasures of this abundant earth that we're so lucky to call home. So if you will, get your feet flat on the earth a little bit now, even if you're inside a building, or if you want to take this podcast outside and go sit outside a little bit, find a little patch of brown that's turning to green of grass. But get those feet grounded in the earth. Even if you're inside, then just notice the bottom of your feet, the soles of your feet, and just, even if you have to imagine or kind of make up in your mind that there is something coming out of the soles of your feet connecting you down into the earth. And if you have really sensitive soles of your feet, you might even notice that there's so much taking place in the soil. All the little creatures that are waking up and doing their thing. Little creepy crawlies that are doing their thing, so that the soil is able to be nourished and life is able to grow out of it. We're so grateful for this beautiful earth in which we're able to live. And I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness now up through the soles of your feet, all the way up to your heart space. And many of us also like to bring awareness to the energies beyond us, the divine God that is beyond us in all things, and bring that energy of the heavens down into our heart space as well. So that here we are, this place of intersection between the energies of the earth and the energies of the heavens. And we as human beings stand between both, are this amazing elixir of both, actually. We are matter and we are spirit. In Jesus, we see that we are human and that we have the Spirit of God living in us. He comes to wake us up to who we truly are. And so with some reflection for a few moments, focusing on the energy of your heart, you might want to put your hand, I immediately put my hand in the center of my chest. In fact, most of the time when I meditate, I have my hand over my heart's center, my heart chakra. This is where many of us believe the spiritual eye of the heart resides, like in our physical self. This is the bridge between the worlds. And so as we go inward through the energy of our heart, we can settle there. I often find my energy of my heart being like an opening to an even deeper place within, where that immortal diamond of God resides. In this time of reflection, I want us to be honest with ourselves, because just because the world is waking up again and the world is turning and spring is upon us, it doesn't mean that in our emotional or spiritual or mental world that we're feeling that we're in a time of spring. We might actually be feeling like we're in a time of letting go and we're losing. We're heading into a time of dormancy, a time of waiting, of like all things being cleared out. Maybe we feel like we've been in the winter season of our lives for a very long time. And it might be that we are going to tread there a little bit longer, wait there a little bit longer. And so we want to honor wherever we are in this journey of life. If we feel as if we're in a time of a lot of things awakening, or if we are in that turning towards letting go, or maybe we're in that time of like reaping the beautiful benefits of all that we have sown, all that we have worked so hard to bring about. Wherever we are in our journey, let's be honest about that in this time of quiet reflection. When we get quiet, our soul can tell us. We can't rush any one of the seasons. Like, no matter what we do as human beings, we cannot make the world turn faster. We cannot make spring happen when we're still so far away from the sun. But we can look for it, and we can trust that it will come again. We can have hope through any season of our own lives that the fervor of spring, the emergence of spring, the bursting forth of life of spring will come again. For all of us, even as it does for all the earth, each year. So no matter where you are in this journey of your life, I invite you to reflect upon and listen within for if there is one little thing that might be emerging, one little seed within that might be opening. It could be in your job or in a relationship or among your family. And even if it's not happening in your own life right now, one little seed beginning to burst out of its like little shell, if that's not happening in your life right now, if you can identify either a friend's life or the earth itself where that is happening, so that no matter where you are in the season of your life, we can spend some time with the emergence of spring, with the new life that is coming. So I'm going to invite us to stay inward in some quiet, listening for what emergence is just beginning to take place for myself or for the world. What sign of hope, the hope of spring, do I notice? If you find yourself like taken away from that focus, then just bring yourself back with a deep breath. Bring yourself back with entering once again into the space of your heart so that you can listen. Listen, notice, watch, see, have a sensation in your body, however that might come in this time of quiet, for that which is emerging for you in your life. Notice what comes in the quiet. Take another deep breath and keep on listening. Keep on noticing, keep on watching around this question of what is emerging in your life right now. Notice it's not the question of what do I want to have emerge in my life right now. This is like truly sifting through your life to see what is emerging. Not what I want to have emerge, but what is emerging. Or what's like just on the cusp of emerging. And if you're in a time of grief, I've been there. If you're in a time of grief, what might be emerging is the courage to just let it go and let it out and allow the tears to come. Just noticing and honoring your grief. So many I've encountered in these last weeks are feeling so much grief around the world itself. Situations that are taking place all over the world. And so what might be emerging for you, maybe it feels more like the winter of grief, but what might need to emerge for you and is emerging for you is a new understanding of your connection with all things. That when one being suffers, you suffer too. For we are all one on this planet. We are all one in our grand diversity, our differentiated selves, and yet we're all still one. It's such a mystery. We can honor that gift, notice that gift. That itself might be an emergence for us. Listening for that deepest place in you give the wisdom that you need. That's what we're doing right now. And if we'll take one more deep breath, and release it slowly. Before we depart this pause that hopefully leads to a little bit of peace and centeredness in our life, express inwardly some form of gratitude. Perhaps all that's taken place for you in this pause for peace is just noticing where you are as the world keeps turning. Where are you amid it all? Maybe it's not in the season of spring. Maybe it is. Maybe you see so many things emerging right now in your life. You're doing the best to just keep up. Keep on noticing and allow it all to unfold. One of the most beautiful words of spring is unfurling. Like just the way like a fern just like unfurls as it comes forth from the ground. Whatever form of inward gratitude you can express. We do so because we want to honor this beautiful teaching we have received from the depths of our inner wisdom, from this Spirit of God that resides within. And let's take one more deep breath and release it. And when we're ready, we can open our eyes once again, come back to the awareness of this present moment, this connection we all have through this amazing media of video and podcasting. And if you will do something to capture what you noticed, what's emerging, or what season you are in, and therefore what might be emerging. Like I said, maybe you're in the season of harvesting, and what's emerging is like that willingness to let go, because something new can grow then again, and as you like move into the next stage of your journey. So take a moment to capture that somehow, through a text message to yourself, or just jotting something in a journal quick, or splashing some color across the page, whatever it might be. Maybe it'll be green. And I do invite us all to keep our eyes open as we're moving through our days. Like I said, when I just like bumped into this like amazing crocus coming through the ground, and in my backyard there was like a buttercup emerging, and there's like Easter lilies that are starting to push through the ground because I like plant those outside. And so these little things are beginning to emerge and unfurl. And if we all could keep our eyes open to the beauty of spring in the natural world, and also continue to pay attention to what is unfurling, what is unfolding for yourself in the season of life that you are in right now. Thanks so much for joining me for this spring equinox pause for peace. Blessings for all that will come in these weeks ahead, and continue on this path of the season of Lent as well. See you next time.